Well, I want to welcome all of you for being here with me today. We're talking about legacy of service to the Harford County Sheriff's Office. And I'm really glad to have your family to talk about how each of you have contributed to that legacy. So let's start with Captain Smith. Can I ask you, I read an article in the Aegis, and I did not realize until I read that article that you are the first African-American deputy at the Harford County Sheriff's Office. Carla, can you tell me how you found out your dad was the first African-American deputy? What was that conversation like?
Yeah, when I heard the Aegis was going to interview him, and then when I saw the article and everything, I was like, Daddy, you were the first African-American, because all these years, he had never brought that up. It had never come up in conversation. So it was, a surprise. And I had no idea. And he was like, oh, yeah, you know.
How do you feel about that?
I'm proud of him. Very proud of him, yeah.
Oh, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do for the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I'm Carla Smith, and I work as the security booth attendant. I started at the Northern Precinct, but now I work at the headquarters on Main Street.
And your mom is next to you as a longtime volunteer.
A long-time volunteer for the Christmas drive. I started back in 1984.
Wow.
The sheriff, well, then he was Deputy Bain.
Oh.
And he started in his garage, he said, in 83. But I already knew him before then. And so I got with him in 84. And we have been working together all these years until he became sheriff. And then we became Sheriff Captain Steve Thomas. Became. So I still been helping with him also.
So you were there the very first year of the Christmas drive.
84, but he started 83, then 84, yes, so it's almost 40 years.
Certainly the need is still there.
The need is still there.
Thank you for starting that very first year and continuing to help with that. So Carla, having had a career and a half now in public safety, recruiting is difficult for agencies. If someone's considering a career, whether it's law enforcement, corrections, public safety, what advice do you give to them?
I would encourage anybody that's looking into recruiting to be in corrections or probation or anything like that. I encourage it because I had a good career in it, and I really enjoyed my career in it. Yeah. Would
you say it was a fulfilling career to work with people?
Yes, it was fulfilling.
Well, we're coming up on our 250th anniversary at the Sheriff's Office.
Wow.
And it's incredible to hear each of your stories and know what you have contributed to that 250 years. So I thank you so much for taking time to be with us today and to talk about your family and your legacy of service to the citizens of Harford County. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Perry family, to the next segment of A Legacy of Service for Behind the Badge. Welcome. I'm really honored to have you sit down with me today and talk a little bit about your family and your service to your community, your country, and the Sheriff's Office. So let's just start off by Ken, retired sergeant. Talk a little bit about your career here at the Sheriff's Office.
Began my civilian law enforcement career in 1993. I came to the Sheriff's Office in 1997, where I worked patrol down here, Southern Midnight Shift, for many years. Then I moved over to the Criminal Investigations Division, ended up being a homicide detective for several years and got promoted to corporal. Went back to patrol for a short time, then I was moved to the Internal Affairs Unit in 2010, I believe it was. 2 years later, I got promoted to sergeant and stayed in the Internal Affairs Unit and eventually retired out of the unit in January of 2020. And Sheriff Gaylor was gracious enough to hire me back as a civilian, where I do background investigations now.
So, and your son,
Yes.
John Perry, is here. Do you want to tell us what brought you to the sheriff's office?
Following in my dad's footsteps. Ever since I could remember, I always wanted to be like him. So when I was 17, I joined the Army. And after my service in the Army, I joined the sheriff's office in 2019, January 2019. I've been on patrol ever since I got out of the academy. And currently I'm up Northern Precinct, Shift 3.
Tell me, what is your earliest memory of your dad being a law enforcement officer?
So my earliest memory, I must have been, 3 or 4 years old, and we were living in Edgewood, and my dad would get ready for work, and my brother and I would, stay up late, and he would leave and turn the lights on as he was leaving to go to work, and if he didn't turn the lights on, my brother and I would have a big fit, and we wouldn't sleep. And then my mom would have to call the precinct and send a deputy over to turn the lights on so that we would sleep. But that's my, I think, earliest memory of him being a police officer. And
then we were talking to you, you have another son that also doesn't work for the sheriff's office, but his career is in public safety as well.
Yes.
Would you say that that's a family legacy that starts with you, or does that go back many generations?
It goes back many, many generations. Our family, both my mom's side and my dad's side of the family, we have descendants all the way back to the Revolutionary War. We've pretty much, somebody in our family's been in the military since the formation of the country. I followed in my father's footsteps, he followed in his father's footsteps, and so forth, and then my sons followed in mine.
Both with joining the military first, and
Yes.
then coming to the sheriff's office. Do you worry about him? We've talked a little bit before we started how policing has truly changed since the days that you
Right.
were a recruit, and so you see him. Do you turn your lights on when you leave too? So
actually, yeah.
He did the first time I went on patrol.
My first midnight shift, they sat out on the porch and I turned my lights on for them.
That's really sweet. We're looking at that legacy. So do you worry about him?
I guess there's always a worry, but I think being the father of a law enforcement officer, you can't really worry. You have to trust in his abilities. He's an excellent communicator. Obviously, physically, he's fine. The training he's received at the sheriff's office is second to none, and I think our agency does a very good job of, training, not only physical training, but interpersonal skills, de-escalation skills. There's always a worry, but you can't let it consume you.
I know you said that you work patrol right now, but I also see your DI pin. Can you talk about any other secondary assignments you have?
Yeah, I'm on the Honor Guard. I've been on the Honor Guard since I came out of the academy. I was asked to be a part of that along with Tyler Daly. I'm also a crash reconstructionist. I am also a part of the recruitment team that just got formed recently. And I think that's it.
So, well, I see some similarities because I know you were a member of the Honor Guard and also a drill instructor as well. Who were your crash reconstructionist too?
Wasn't that smart?
There's a lot of math involved.
lot of math.
There's a lot of math. So I can certainly see your careers paralleling as you move forward. So I know there was a time after you graduated and before you retired that you were both active law enforcement members here. So what was it like working together?
The one time that we did suit up together in uniform, we were fresh out of the academy, and we were working a DUI checkpoint on Churchill Road, and I was the only deputy to get a DUI that night, and my dad got to witness it, be in uniform together, and it was his last time wearing the uniform, so it was pretty cool. pretty cool moment. Yeah.
Last time you were wearing your uniform and your first
arrest. First arrest.
Proud moment?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I hear a lot of themes. We're talking about all the things that you have done in your career here, in your careers before you even got here, and your family legacy, talking about how much you invest in community and community service. So I know there's some other programs that you are involved with too, Ken. So your service doesn't start and stop with the Sheriff's Office. Can you talk about some of the other things that you're involved with?
I'm heavily involved with the American Legion, Post 135 in Perryville. We do all kinds of veterans programs, veterans meals. Sometimes it's just as simple as sitting down and talking with the older veterans. So that takes a lot of my time.
What is it about you that calls you to want to be a part of public safety and service to your country and service to your community?
Well, to me, it's about the human interaction. It's about talking to people and helping people. So yeah, the first time I ever helped someone and they actually thanked me, and I could truly see that they were thanking me for just doing my job and doing what I wanted to do. Everything became worth it, and it became sort of addicting, and me wanting to continue to do that for people, not only in the sheriff's office, but people out on the road and people of all different aspects of life. So that's what drew me to continue my community service.
We are very fortunate to be in Harford County, where our community, hands down, supports their law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We have done a community survey where we have had what the person that did the survey said that we had some of the highest scores that they've ever surveyed across the country of our satisfaction with law enforcement. And I think you see that when you're out and about. Do you feel that from your community?
Absolutely. I can't tell you. I work up in Northern Precinct, and it's literally every single day someone coming up and thanking me for what I do, or people trying to buy me coffee, buy my food, people literally waving me down saying thank you for the what I do. And it's, yeah, I don't see that anywhere else really. So
I think that you would not be surprised if I said that recruitment is difficult. Mm-hmm. And you said you're part of our recruitment team right mm-hmm. now. And that's not just in Harford County. That is kind of across the country. Right. We're seeing difficulty in recruiting people to want a career in law enforcement or corrections. Mm-hmm. And I'm interested, someone that is not quite sure what they want to do. They're considering law enforcement. They're considering corrections. They need more information. They need somebody to kind of help steer them along. Yeah. What's the advice that you're giving them?
I tell them it's a very challenging job. It's not easy, but it's a very rewarding job. And if you're up for the challenge, absolutely come and apply. But Harford County, we want people with the same mindset that, we are here to help, be professionals, and that you got to bring it your best every single day and be a good reflection of the sheriff's office.
Because it's a calling, it becomes a lifestyle.
Well, I really do want to thank both of you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us and talk about your legacy of service to public safety and the Harford County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you for having us.
We've been honoring the men and women who've established legacies of service within their own families, and we've seen how service to our community takes many forms. One very important way that we strengthen and support our neighbors and friends is being a calm and trusted voice during an emergency. When we call 911, It's often one of our worst days, and knowing that the person on the other end of the line is competent and well-trained makes all the difference. Let's take a closer look at what happens when you call 911.
Harford County 911. 3 Baker 72, copy for a 1050 PI.
3 Baker 72.
Additional caller reporting a female unconscious, possibly in the vehicle.
Hopefully you never have to call 911, but if you do, rest assured that your call will be handled by a trained 911 specialist. I'm Amanda Gorsuch, and I'm here today to tell you what happens when you call 911. In order to make sure that we are sending you the correct assistance, we have some very important questions that we will be asking you. What is the location of your emergency? The first and the most important question that we are going to ask you is your location. Keep in mind, while we are asking you these questions, the information is electronically being sent to a dispatcher who is going to be getting help started. The questions are not delaying help getting started your way. We then are going to ask for your callback number. What is the phone number that you're calling from? This is important in case we get disconnected or if the responders need to reach you when they arrive on scene. We will then ask you a series of predetermined questions to make sure that we're sending you the appropriate level of help. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're unable to call into 911, please remember that you can also text 911 in Harford County. No matter which way you contact 911, please stay on the line until the call taker advises you to disconnect. We are able to provide pre-arrival instructions in certain situations until the responders arrive, or if we have all the information that we need, we can let you go.
Call is reporting a single vehicle 1050 PI into a telephone pole. While the call taker is taking your call, I am making sure the right people and the right equipment are being dispatched to your emergency. I am Tamara Haney, Public Safety Shift Manager at the Department of Emergency Services for Harford County, Maryland. 3 Baker 72, copy for a 1050 PI, 2500 block of Chestnut Hill Road. As a 911 dispatcher, I take the information that you provide the call taker and pass that on to the first responders.
Dispatch 3 Baker 72, copy for a 1050 PI, 2500 block of Chestnut Hill Road.
3 Baker 72, go ahead.
I'm Deputy Ripatello with Harford County Sheriff's Office. Once I receive the call, I'm plugging that information into the map. I'm also looking at the map to figure out the type of location that it is because I'm thinking about what extra help I'm going to need.
Our computer-aided dispatch system here at the 911 Center produces information that shares equally between fire and EMS dispatch and police dispatch. Therefore, as the call taker receives updated information from you, we can send that out to responders as quickly as possible. Additional caller reporting a female unconscious, possibly in the vehicle.
The information that was just given to me by dispatch,
Fire and EMS are both en route at this time.
Might not be the entire picture. The caller that called in might not have seen everything going on. So I need to be flexible once I get on scene and then relay that information to my lifeline so that they may call all the necessary resources needed for that job. This teamwork between the 911 call center and us first responders is what makes Harford County a safer place.
And I'm right here with you. Help is on the way.
The Harford County Sheriff's Office is committed to staying on top of current technology and best practices. After noticing a trend of catalytic converter thefts in the county, one of our deputies instituted an innovative program to address this issue.
Hello, we're going to talk about the catalytic converter theft prevention program that I came up with here at the Harford County Sheriff's Office for both commercial vehicles and residential use vehicles. I'm Senior Deputy Eric Blottenberger with the Harford County Sheriff's Office. After noticing a trend of commercial vehicle catalytic converter theft here in the county, about a year ago I developed a program for those vehicles for owners to come in and we would mark the catalytic converters on their vehicles for them. And the way the system works is we will apply a serialized identification number to that individual vehicle. Then we will record the vehicle information as well as the owner's information from that. The number is applied using special high temperature paint. It's not normal spray paint. It lasts a very long time. While the program isn't foolproof, my hope is that it is a preventative to theft. As a potential thief approaches your vehicle, we're going to provide you, if you've come to us and had your vehicle registered, a decal. We have both 5-inch square and 6-inch square, depending on the size of the vehicle. We're going to give that to you. That has our agency logo. That warns a potential thief that the converter on your vehicle has been registered with us and has been had a serial number applied to it. The number we apply is individual to your vehicle. No other vehicle, there are going to be no two identical numbers. That number then will be highly visible. It goes on with orange, heat-resistant, high-temp paint. And the paint goes on orange, but it cures a very bright canary yellow. If you are interested in having your vehicle or vehicles registered with us, there's no limit. If you own 3, that's fine. If you're a commercial business and you have a fleet of 20, that's fine too. For commercial businesses with multiple vehicle fleets, we normally will come out to you. How you want to arrange for that is you can call our office at 410-612-1670, or you can email us at communitypolicing@harfordsheriff.org. If you are a personal vehicle, meaning you're a homeowner and you want to get your own vehicles registered through this program, the process is done through a sign-up app online. You can email us, and I'd be happy to email the link for that. We also have posted that on our social media feeds. Again, the number would be the same, either commercial or residential, but residential, you will come out to us here at the Edgewood Precinct. If you're commercial, we will come to you. So no fleet is too big and no fleet is too small. And if you're a residential customer, then if you have 1 vehicle or 5, either way, that's fine. There is no cost for this program. It is free to both commercial and residential people that are interested in it. And again, if you are interested and you want to sign up, reach out to us at communitypolicing@harfordsheriff.org, or you can just direct call our office at 410-612-1670. Thank you.
Our mission to protect all our Harford County citizens extends to our school children too, so they can learn in a safe and secure environment. Let's find out more.
Hi, I'm Senior Deputy Brian Brandow. I'm the School Resource Officer for Falston Middle School, and I'm here to talk about why school resource officers are such an important part of the school community. Some people think that SROs are in the school for school discipline or for arresting students, and that's seldom the case. Sometimes we may have to charge or arrest a student. None of us ever really want to. Most of the time we're there for the safety and security of the students and the faculty. Sometimes to educate the students in whatever subject they might be learning about. We'll be in the classroom for that. And most of the time we're there as informal counselors. Whenever a student needs to talk about something, we're there as an ear to listen. One of the most important things is building relationships with the students. All of the high school SROs have criminal justice clubs, and I'm planning on starting one at Falston Middle School this year. But the relationship building could be being in the hallway and talking to the students and asking how their day's going, or how their sports team played that night or over the weekend, or what fun activities they have planned over the weekend or holiday. Those relationships that I've built in the middle school carry over to the high school when I go up there from time to time. And the high school kids come up and talk to me and tell me about things. Developing these relationships can help find potential red flags, where if a student's having an issue at home or even in school or wherever, they might disclose something, and maybe I can help get the resources they need to potentially solve that problem. A deputy has to go through specialized training to become an SRO. On a national level, through the National Association of School Resource Officers, or NASRO, and on a state level through the Maryland Police and Corrections Training Commission. These trainings provide us the tools that we need to successfully keep the school community safe. When asked to describe me, the students at Falston Middle School have often described me as smiley. It's these types of positive interactions that I have with the students that will hopefully bring about a better connection between the youth and police.
Our deputies' service to their community doesn't end when their shift ends or they take off their uniform. Let's look at how one of our deputies strengthens Harford County by going beyond the badge. Sergeant Kevin Phillips of the Sheriff's Office Special Response Team packed on loads of tactical gear, including his tactical uniform, vest, helmet, and gas mask, and along with 4 other members of the Sheriff's Office, took to the streets for the annual Bel Air Town Run recently to raise money for the Harford County Humane Society. His goal was $2,500, but he far exceeded that amount, raising over $5,000 for the Humane Society. We join all the homeless animals at the Harford County Humane Society in our sincere thanks to Sergeant Phillips for his care and concern. Well, that's all for today's show. We have lots more to share with you about who we are, what we do, and how we keep you and your family safe here in Harford County. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram for more information about our agency between episodes. Or take a look at our previous shows through our virtual academy. Until next time, for Behind the Badge, I'm Christy Hopkins.